how truthful is Judy to Peter Quilter's stage play End of the Rainbow? So what are the differences between the play and the movie?
I hope that if you saw the play, that you're still going to get all the wonderful Judy performances and the songs. I guess there's more of the backstage world, and you see the early part of Garland's life as well when she was making The Wizard of Oz. And I guess we also focus much more on her role with the children and less purely about the performing.
And do you prefer being a stage director or a film director?
I love
And
whichever one I'm doing.
Which one? Gotta pick one.
Well, I wouldn't. Well, I've been doing theatre for longer, so I feel more comfortable in it. But then the thrill of the new is nice as well. I think there are sections of the film process that are really unique, like the editing. And that's a really, really wonderful experience for a director. I still always enjoy the thrill of a first preview of a play or a musical, because you see live the first audience meeting the live actors. So they're different things. I mean, film is more. You have more power as a director in film, so maybe if I'm feeling megalomaniac, then maybe film.
That's an interesting point of view. I'm going to ask you, and I could make a little game with you, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, somehow there seems to be a parallel between the storyline of The Wizard of Oz and Judy's late life. I mean, Judy's life in the late years, right? So while in London, she desperately wants to get home, and she meets a lot of people who try to get her home. And so let's try to make a connection here. If I say Tin Man and Scarecrow, what would be the equivalent in Judy? It's a tough question.
Tin Man would be maybe the two gay fans, are kind of like that. And maybe also the people who are in that mould, I suppose, are Bert and Rosalind, the pianist and the sort of personal assistant who sort of go with her. We always used to say Mickey Deans was like Toto.
Oh yes, I was going to ask who is Toto. That's great. I like that. What about the Wizard of Oz? What would that be?
Michael Gambon. He plays wizards.
Yes, I also thought that. Well done. And the lion.
Well, actually, maybe that is Mickey Deans, because
you've got to make up.
Mickey Deans. Maybe his strangeness was that he tried to be brave for her, but couldn't be.
Right. I'm going to ask you now a more serious question. I mean, Judy bounces back and forth. I love the flashbacks. That's my favorite, between the Garland's teenage years in Hollywood and the twilight of her career, right? In my views, this actually highlights the issues emerging from the movie, which is like deprivation of childhood, of those young stars. And it's quite current, isn't it, with all the influencers and all that trend. So how consciously did you use this technique to really present this showcase of this dilemma? Or was it all kind of casual?
Which dilemma? Do you mean the dilemma?
The dilemma of like this lost childhood and like this...
Yeah. I suppose, we were interested in like that. She's trying to give a normal childhood to her children, and she never had a normal childhood, and so those parallels were important. And we shot all those scenes in flashback as though they were almost like her childhood was a stage set in itself that she never had. She never went out into the real world as a kind of Wizard of Oz kind of idea, and it had a huge impact on her later life, obviously. But they also serve as structure, I suppose, so that when when she's young and she's being a rebel, then we see her being a rebel in her later life and the consequences, and then also her relationship with the audience when she was young and what that means when she's older, you know, and that being a through line, I think, was important.
I've had so many more questions to ask you, but
TikTok.
that was great. TikTok, thank you so much.
Not
it was
at all.
a fantastic film.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it so much,
Great.
actually.
Thank you.
So I grew up with The Wizard of Oz.
TikTok.
That was